throughout the season, Greg Rakestraw from ISC Sports Network brings us expertise on Daybreak and then calls the game of the week, and he's here to set up the championship matchups. This is a fun weekend, whoever's in these.
Absolutely right. And again, we are now on year number 12 of having these 6 games over the course of 2 days. For many years before that, it was 5 classifications. We kind of alternate in terms of who gets to go on Friday, who gets to go on Saturday. So today, the even-numbered classifications, 2, 4, and 6 at 11, 3, and 7, including in tomorrow with 1, 3, and 5. So obviously, from a local interest standpoint, that 7 o'clock game night may be the one that has the most interest.
All right, let's build up to that.
Sure.
Go 2A schools first. Today it'll be Adams Central, Linton Stockton. That's a morning kickoff. That's an 11 o'clock kickoff.
Correct. And what this is, there's some things we did differently during COVID. We go, hey, we kind of like how that works. Let's do it that way. Games were 12, 3:30, and 7 o'clock, and maybe not necessarily this game, but again, because of the fact that, teams throw the football, as you see in that highlight, a lot more than they used to, we need a little more time per game, so hence the 11 o'clock early start. So what you're watching is Linton beating Lutheran last week, and again, Lutheran starting quarterback got hurt in the sectional championship game. He made it as high-powered as they have been over the course of early in the season, but taking nothing away from Linton Stockton. Keith Oliver, their head coach, done a great job in terms of building up that program. They are in a 2A state final for the first time. Adams Central has been in the 1A state finals each of the last 3 years and has lost to Lutheran. So they were kind of looking at that matchup in a different class. Now you get Adams Central and Linton Stockton, 2 very bruising teams. Probably lean towards the Jets. That's Adams Central slightly. Should be a really good game.
The times always depend on the end of the game prior. Roughly speaking, 3 o'clock today, New Pal, East Noble.
So New Pal and East Noble, again, Alex Stewart in his first year as the head coach of East Noble was the longtime head coach at Western. What Kyle Ralph has done at New Pal is just tremendous. And again, last week they disposed of Martinsville 43-7. That's the highlights you are seeing here. The week before, they had to go to overtime to beat Chittard. And I know that East Noble is ranked 2 in some polls. Frankly, I think most folks thought, hey, the other best team that New Pal had to play in their state tournament run was going to be Bishop Chittard in the regional round. So New Pal has to be the heavy favorite here. Again, East Noble, quality squad, but I'm not sure they've seen anybody like New Pal all season.
Biggest crowds will come from the big schools. 6A was really exciting this year.
Correct. We thought this was going to be the year where there was not much difference in between these top programs, and you kind of saw that to a certain degree last week in terms of the semifinals. We had the pleasure of doing it ISC for IHSATV.org. This game you're seeing here between Brownsburg and Center Grove, it was only a more than a 1-score game for all of 1 possession. You are looking at the final play from scrimmage for Center Grove, 4th and 3 at the 8-yard line. Jameer Pendleton steps in front of a pass, gets his 5th interception of the season. Now, this Westfield Crown Point game you're watching here, this was a rematch of last year's semi-state that was held at Crown Point. The Crown Point won in overtime. Westfield dispatched of them 30-7. And now we get the replay because of Westfield and Brownsburg being in the same league of a game from week number 6 that Brownsburg won 17-13. Expected to be as close, if not closer, for the nightcap tonight.
All right, once you catch your breath after that, let's go back small schools. North Judd, St. Pierre, San Pierre, and Providence, so up top.
Exactly. So the Blue Jays of North Judson, San Pierre, they have been just steamrolling people all season long. They're going to be the favorites in this one. Providence is a great story. First of all, from my neck of the woods, the last time that Providence made the state finals, I was a senior in high school. It was 31 years ago. So, frankly, the kids of those guys are now leading Providence. Providence had a big winning at South Putnam last week, 35-30 at home to make it here. Again, both teams are undefeated, but again, given what North Judson's been doing to teams all season long, Blue Jays have to be the favorite.
We'll just move past the fates of my alma mater for this football season. Fort Wayne, Bishop Luers and Heritage Hills.
Yeah, Bishop Luers is a team you just kind of write them in most years. And again, Bishop Luers, because they play in the Summit Athletic Conference, don't let that record confuse you. Those losses are mostly to 5A and to 6A teams, but Heritage Hills is something special. Again, Heritage Hills, they made it here last year as the runners-up to Chittard. They last won a state championship in 2000. Their starting quarterback, a guy named Jay Cutler, that you may have heard of.
I believe he had a
they
career.
also had another young man named John Goldsberry on those teams that played for Purdue and the Buffalo Bills. His son Jet is the star player.
Oh, wow.
What a name for a football player.
Right.
Again, Heritage Hills, they beat Memorial from Evansville earlier. But in the tournament run, what I can tell you is this: because they played Chittard card last year. I think they're prepared for a team like Lures. I like Heritage Hills in this.
Kind of battle tested in that way.
Absolutely, yeah, they've seen that before.
All right, the biggest schools on Saturday will be Warsaw, Decatur Central.
Well, again, I love this for Warsaw. Warsaw is a school that has never won more than a football sectional in their history heading into this year. So they are making a first-time run downstate. But it's not their first time downstate this year. They played Warren Central number 2. We broadcast that game on MyIndy TV, and I think that game so prepares them for this. You see Bo Polston throwing a touchdown pass to Casimir Hicks in this game. Again, Decatur Central here last year, runners up to Fort Wayne Snyder. Kyle Enright there on the sidelines, always wears shorts on the sidelines, regardless of the weather, as a tribute to his dad, Dave. And thankfully, Tara's forecast is fantastic for games at Lucas Oil this week. It's going to be 72 and sunny
there you go.
inside of the stadium. So Kyle wearing his shorts will not be a problem. By the way, in that game, Warsaw likes to run the football.
Yeah.
So there may be even a quarter or two quicker than this segment because of how quickly they move the football. They average completing about 2.5 passes a game. So don't blink in the 5A game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You might miss it.
You know, in terms of weather, that'll be one of the memories of this year as well. We had early in the season, remember how horrible things were?
I like to think of it as Tara is on like a 7 or 8 game winning streak
there you
to
go.
close out the year.
Yeah.
Weeks 2, 5, and 6, let's forget about those.
Yep.
Those were early season struggles. Once we got that hurricane out of the way, the weather was phenomenal for the entirety of the season.
There you go. So goes the weather, so goes the football season. You've done a great job. You always do a great job for the ISC Sports Network and us here as well when we're real grateful to call those, have you call those games for Game of the Week.
And this is what I will also plug as I cut you off before you get to the weather toss here to Tara.
Yeah.
Again, even though we're done calling football games on MyIndy TV, we have 38 more basketball games on MyIndy TV, including tomorrow night at 6:30, Lawrence North and Attucks. Again, basketball season is now here. And so, in other words, you're stuck seeing and hearing me on a regular basis on our sister station. It's like me and Steve Harvey that dominate that channel on a daily basis.
You know, just toss to Tara.
I know.
I'm done here.
Tara's on an 8-game winning streak. Let's see if she continues it. Probably not, but here's Tara anyway.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you this. Weather inside Lucas Oil is going to be picture perfect. Today,